There's been a lot of stories lately in the media about the Mexican American society and about how they're druggies, rapists, and criminals, and that there has to be something done to protect the average American citizen from them. Solutions range from sending the people back to where they came from to building a wall on the border between the U.S. and Mexico. But imagine that one day you wake up, you get dressed, you make your pot of coffee, maybe you go to work, school, or maybe you just stay at home and do the dishes, start the laundry, take out the trash. Nothing that you are doing is outside of your normal everyday routine. You might run into a friend or a neighbor, say hi, talk to them for a while, go out and have lunch, buy some groceries, and so on. Everything is as it should be. But there is one exception. You are Hispanic. You are the one who has to face the world, who talks about you as a second-rate citizen and doesn't even try to hide it. They say this about you, even though you might be born in this country. You're the one who feels that there might be an extra eye or two on you. You don't even have to be dark-skinned either. It could be because of something as simple as your last name that gives you away. However, it doesn't matter. You have that invisible target on you. That is the way that thousands of people across this country feel on an everyday basis. And that is how I have felt for a long time. And that is how the next two people whose stories you will hear have felt growing up as a Mexican American in a white world.
My name is Rolando Perez. I am 22 years old. I was born in El Paso, Texas. I'm a first-generation Mexican American, and both of my parents are from Chihuahua, Mexico. There was really no difference, man. Being Mexican American in El Paso, Texas really just means that you're Mexican. I'm going to say the population is about 80% Hispanic, so you really don't feel the, racial tensions as much. Like, what I did have trouble finding, or getting around of was how maybe upper class Mexican Americans treated the lower class Mexican Americans. Like, they thought they were better than us because they were already generations above us. Even though they went through the same struggle that we did, they just somehow felt that they were better than us. Well, my mom makes $9,000 a year currently, and back in the day. So she stretched that to a moment that I didn't know that we were poor. Yes, I would ask why can I have a PlayStation 2 or stuff like that? But she would always have some sort of good explanation of why I didn't need that and why that was just some sort of material possession. My dad got deported when I was 11 or 12, and he's been deported 3 times ever since. So he would have a job for half a year and then be deported and stuff like that. So he didn't really come into the equation as far as I know. And he's been living in Juarez for about six years now. So he's been there for a while, and he kind of just he's a handyman. He just puts out his flyer and call me if you need anything, basically. And he just goes out and works for I think he said the best he's ever makes $5 a day.
Now, you said your mom was also a immigrant coming into the States. Has she ever been threatened with deportation?
She has been, but she's really good. She's a mom. I feel like women are more responsible than men. And hers was silly. It was she changed from T-Mobile, and she changed from T-Mobile to another carrier, and somehow they just filed her for months and months and months of payments, and it ended up being $600. And she ended up receiving a call from a collection company. It's well, they're threatening to deport you if you don't pay this fee. She's trying to become a citizen now.
And how old were you when this happened?
This is recent, man. This is 6 months ago. This was
wow.
Yeah, not too long ago. My grandpa first came here in the 70s or 80s it was called the Braceros program, which they would just bring with working visas to to work like the cotton fields in El Paso. In my head, it was just like some sort of like scheme that they could bring over Hispanics or workers here legally and just kind of like work them, you know, explode them a little bit, and just like with the reward that they were going to be able to stay in the States or something like that. That's how I see it. From there, they rented this like 2-bedroom apartment to fit all 11 of them next to a school, and they just walked to school. And I think the only person to graduate from high school was the youngest one, because I think all of the rest of them, my dad said he started working at around 11, so he was probably like 10 when he got to the States, and then started working at 11. I think that might have been why he was like brought up that way, and why he like got into trouble. But because you like at 10 years old, what were you doing? Riding your bike, playing with dirt, you know, throwing mud at each other? I don't know. So if he had to work from like 10 to like 27, or I don't know exactly the ages, but he worked for a very long time. I'm assuming that when he was a grown man is when he wanted to fool around, for lack of a better word. So I think that's kind of what happened, and how it went down. He was trying to live something that he didn't live before.
Have you ever faced any sort of racism or anything that you felt may have been directed towards you because of your race since you've been up here?
Well, my very first experience, or let me backtrack. Whenever I took my letter of intent to my coach, I signed it. He said, you know what, it's like, you better just watch out for the type of people that are over there, you know, just try to be like level-headed, don't get into any fights, like, etc. So I kind of went in with this like, oh, all white people are racist. Plus, if you really think about it, everything up to that point has socialized me to think that white people were racist. Just the stuff that I saw in cartoons, the stuff that I saw in the media, just everything combined led me to believe that white people are racist. So I kind of just came in with the thought unconsciously that all white people were racist. And maybe an hour being in Kansas, and I was just mind blown. There was just so many trees. It's like, how is there so many trees? Like, why is everything so green? How is this happening? I lost my ticket to the little K-track thing, or the little, like, where you pay to get on a highway or whatever.
The toll booth stuff.
Yeah, and that's something that doesn't happen in El Paso. So I lost that, and we pulled up to the thing. I was like, ma'am, it's like, I lost the thing. And she laughed, and she's like, don't worry about it. Just tell me where you came through. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'm not from around here. And she just helped me out. And she was just like the nicest lady I've ever met, ever. So I was like, man, maybe all white people are not racist. But then at the same time, living in Baldwin City, Kansas, man, I've had some rough situations, definitely encountering some sort of like racism. I was walking to the Quick on the side of the church, and I had this big jacket on. It's my first year in town. It was like 50 degrees. To me, that was freezing at the time. And like, these people were pulling out of church, and they had their windows open, and they kind of just look at me, and they just kind of just like rolled up their windows really fast and like drove off really quickly. And I mean, that could have been X, Y, and Z. Like, there's no way that I could say, oh, they were just racist. But to me, that was just like, man, you're just coming out of church, like worshiping the love of God, and just God is love, and you should love everyone. Why? How? That was just not only racist, but hypocrite of their part. And the worst part is, like, when I walked into the Quick, the cop kind of like flinched and like grabbed his like whatever. Like, I don't know if he grabbed his gun or anything. He just like flinched. But yeah, that was kind of like one of the things that I remember more vividly. I've kind of just let go of everything. There's no reason for me to like get in a fight over some sort of like racial tension or whatever. But those are just two like of like the good side and bad side of like, things that I've lived.
So did both of those instances happen at the same trip up to the Quick shop?
Yeah, the car kind of just pulled up, and I mean, like I said, the reasons could have been anything, but that's just being a minority male. That's kind of how you interpret it, or how you were taught to interpret it. So yeah, those happened back to back on the same day.
But did you ever experience like anything where you actually felt threatened by another race?
I don't think it's a matter of race. It's just rich versus poor, and it just happens to be that the white man has been an advantage for a very, 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 very long time. Like they conquered the world basically. So I think that's what it has to do. That's what that has to do with that. I don't know if I said that. That didn't make no sense.
I would like to take a moment to issue a disclaimer before the next bit of audio starts. It was recorded at the home of Rocky and Vera De La Torre, cousins of mine who you will hear speak in this next selection. While the audio has been cleaned up the best that it can be, there is still a lot of background noise from the TV that was on, as well as from the 3 children of another cousin of mine, Michelle De La Torre Clouch, who is Rocky and Vera's daughter. The audio was also recorded by a device that was not meant to record live open-air recordings on. I apologize in advance.
Well, Vincent and Alfred that went through there in the war and got dead and got hurt. They couldn't even join the Legion of the VFW.
Yeah, who was it that brought that? It might have been Esther who brought that newspaper clipping when Alfred got his Medal of Honor, where it said that when he came home he couldn't join the American Legion, and they even spelled his name.
They had to fight for that for a long time. My oldest brother was in on that.
Really?
And yeah, they wouldn't let him join. I thought, well, that's pretty bad. You go get killed, but you can't join.
Well, how long? You said that you couldn't get into like restaurants or the swimming pool. I mean, how long did that happen? When did that change?
No, heck, I don't. I'm 67, going to be 68, so that's when we was in grade school. So
Okay.
it's been a while back.
Probably about 50 years ago.
More than that, because I've been 18 then, and I was in grade school. That'd be 60 years.
Was that here in Chanute, or was that Humboldt, Iola, or all over?
Your Aunt Patty used to talk about it.
Or
not Patty.
If we stopped to go in a restaurant, this is after later on, you know, when they started letting us go in
Right.
restaurants, you didn't have to use the back door or nothing. And people would just, you walk in, they just stare at you. Stand there and just sit there and stare at you. Quit eating and everything. I always tell, hey, I know I'm good looking. If you want a picture, let me know and I'll let you take a photo. And boy, they just start eating again, you know. But yeah, they just sit there and stare. Well, Bear went for that. We know we'd stop somewhere to eat, and they just stare at us. You know.
Yeah, I know when we used to go to Waters with Mom and Dad, you know, some of the restaurants and filling stations would say no Mexicans allowed, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that happened to me. When was it? How many years ago was that?
No Indians.
That made me mad.
Where was
They
that
thought my
at?
dad was an Indian, and they would.
6 years, is it?
It was 6 or 7. We went down for Christopher's
Graduation.
graduation
Louisiana.
in Louisiana.
Really?
And we was coming back, and me and Nick had to go to the bathroom, so we set them off-road gas station, and they had do not use. That lady says, you can't use that bathroom. And I said, why? She says, we don't allow Indians to use their bathroom. He said, I'm sorry about that, Chief. And I said, I ain't no chief, and I don't give a shit. So-and-so.
Right.
You know, so we went out to the front and peed right there in the front. And I thought, that's pretty bad. I said, you know, you think...
Well, that's within the past decade. That's really bad.
Oh, there's still a lot of prejudice. They say there ain't prejudice. There is.
You said you said that was in Louisiana.
Well, it was in Oklahoma. We was coming back from Louisiana.
Oh, that was in Oklahoma.
Yeah, where all the Indians live.
Right.
But boy, it made me so mad when they told me we couldn't use it. I thought,
Wow.
you gotta
These
be
things are
kidding me.
done and gone, which actually they're not.
No, they're not at all.
You know what's so bad about all that
What's that?
is, look how many people go to Mexican restaurants. Look how many people get tans because they want to get dark.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, now, if they hated us so bad, why do they want to look like us? Why do they want to eat like us? You know?
Yeah.
So
No, exactly.
it don't make sense.
Because, you know, I mean, I heard stories about, you know, when Grandpa and Alfred came back from the war, that they couldn't go to bars, and, you know, about the, you know, VFW, that they couldn't go there and whatnot. And so, you know.
They get together at the colored bar, and they gamble and stuff, and that's about it.
Well, on the GI Forum, then they
Oh
started
yeah, then they had the
Forum.
GI Forum, the Mexican bar.
Really?
Well, me and Robert, it's probably been about 8 years ago. Well, when we had that Kia, we just bought that Kia, and we was coming through Garnett, coming back, and we seen the police, and I said, them guys are gonna follow us. They followed us all the way out of town and put the lights on. And Robert said, what the hell's going on? I said, don't ask me. So they got policemen, both of them come out and says, you're in a stolen vehicle. We the Mexicans, so we had a brand new car, see.
Oh my
So
God.
you're driving a stolen vehicle, the Chevy, and I
Yeah,
said,
we didn't even have it for 6 months. We hadn't even had that car for 6 months.
and I said, this is not a Chevy, it's a Kia. And it says, yeah, it's so-and-so, and we ran the tags, and it says, I need to see your registration, your license, and your insurance. So I gave it to them, and they called it in, and said, yeah, it belongs to Robert Torre in Chanute, Kansas. I said, I told you, I just paid the damn taxes on it. I said, we ain't had it that long. I said, we didn't steal the SOB.
Right.
And he said, oh, I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. But it wasn't what it was.
Right.
They seen 2 Mexicans in a brand new car, so they thought we stole the damn thing.
That is incredible.
Yeah, he called and told me, and I was like, oh, God.
And Robert was really scared. What the hell did you do? I said, I ain't did nothing.